Okay guys, we'll go to the next chapter. The next chapter is called probability. We'll start with basic probability. Think about rolling dice. You cannot accurately predict what numbers you will roll, but you do know what the possible outcomes are. The set of all possible outcomes is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 is called the sample space. Any subset of the sample space is called an event. For example, rolling 2, 4, or 6 is an event. We say that even getting an even number occurs if the outcome of rolling the dice is 2, 4, or 6. Probability is a measure of how likely an event is to happen. Something that is impossible has a value of 0, and something that is certain has a value of 1. That means the probability of impossible event equals to 0, and the probability of a certain event equals to 1. A probability cannot be negative, nor can it be greater than 1. That means the value of the probability will be in between of 0 and 1, with 0 and 1 inclusive. Performing an experiment such as rolling a dice is called a trial. If you repeat the experiment by carrying out a number of trials, you can find the experimental probability of an event happening. This fraction is often called relative frequency. The probability of event A happening is defined by PA equals to number of times desired event happens divided by the total number of trials. Example question 1, a person is blindfolded and asked to throw darts at a dartboard. If they hit the board 15 times out of 125 throws, estimate the probability they hit the dartboard on their next throw. Okay, so let's call this the probability of event A equals to number of desired happens is 15 times out of 125 throws. That means the probability will be like this. And then for probability, we have to answer it in the simplest form. That means we can divide them all by 5. So you have 3 over 25 as the final result. That is how you do probability, guys. It's very easy, as simple as that. Next is theoretical probability. When you flip a coin, there are two possible outcomes, which is getting a head or getting a tail. If all possibilities outcomes are equally likely, you can calculate the theoretical probability of an event by counting the number of favorable outcomes and dividing the number by the number of possible outcomes. Therefore, for event A, the theoretical probability is defined by PA equals to number of favorable outcomes divided by number of possible outcomes. Example question 1, the numbers 1 to 6 are written on 6 identical cards. The cards are shuffled and then placed face down on the table. If a card is selected at random, what is the probability you will obtain a 3? So for question A, I will write it like this. P3 means the probability of getting a 3 equals to number of favorable outcomes. That means you have to think like how many 3 are there in our cards. There is only 1 3 cards in 6 cards. That means number of favorable outcomes will be 1 and number of possible outcomes will be 6. So the probability of getting 3 is 1 over 6. How about B? Probability of an even numbers. Even numbers means 2, 4, and 6. We only have 2, 4, and 6 in our 6 cards. That means there are 3 favorable outcomes divided by 6 favorable outcomes, and then we have to simplify this into 1 over 2. Example question 2, Nasir has 20 socks in a drawer. That means we have 20 socks in the drawer, and then there are 3 colors, which is 8 red, and then we have 10 socks are blue, and then we have 2 socks are green. Nah, and then the question wants you to find the probability get green, so green. green equals to, we have two favorable outcomes because there are two greens, and then the total of them is 20, and we simplify it as 1 over 10. And then next is the probability that an event does not happen. If A is an event, that means A prime or A complement is the event of that A does not happen. And the value of the probability will be 1 minus the probability of the event itself. Now, example question 1, the probability that Jas pass the driving test is 2 over 3. Find the probability that Jas will fail the test. Yeah, so probability of fail equals to 1 minus the probability of pass. That means 1 minus 2 over 3, and that will be 1 over 3. Oh sorry, 1 minus 2 over 3 equals to 1 over 3. Next is sample space diagram. You can draw a sample space diagram to show all outcomes clearly and use it to work out the probability of different events. Example question 1, one red dice and one blue dice are thrown at the same time. So we have red dice and also blue dice thrown at the same time. That means you have two objects right here. To find the probability, maybe we have to do the sample space diagram. This is a dice. That means for red it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 for the sides, and then for the blue you will have 6 also, 4, 5, 6. And then the question says the numbers showing on the dice are added together. That means we have to add this. 1 plus 1 equals to 2, 1 plus 2 equals to 3, 1 plus 3 equals to 4, 1 plus 4 equals to 5, 1 plus 5 equals to 6, 1 plus 6 equals to 7, 2 plus 1 equals to 3, 2 plus 2 equals to 4, and so on. Okay, I already fill in the table for you. Next is to answer the questions. The question says find the probability that the sum is 7. So the sum is 7 is like this. P7 equals to, we only have to count how many 7s are there. We have 6 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 out of the total of them. The total of them will be this one. There are 36 possible outcomes. That means 36. So the answer is 1 over 6. How about B? B is the sum less than 8. The sum less than 8 means this one, guys. This one is less than 8. If you count it, you'll have 21 as the favorable outcomes divided by 36 equals to, when you divide by 3, you will have 7 over 12. Okay, so this is how you create the sample space diagram. Next is combining independent and mutually exclusive events. Sometimes you will need to calculate the probability that two events happens one after the other. You might also need to calculate the probability that either of two events happen. In this section, you will learn some rules for calculating the probability of combined events. First, we will learn what is independent event. If you flip an unbiased coin once, the probability of it showing a head is 0.5. Whatever happened for the first time, if you flip the coin a second time, the probability of it showing a head will still be 0.5. This means the result of the first row has no influence on the result of the second row. If the first row has no influence, that means situations like this are called independent events. Two independent events are called independent if and only if PA happens and then B happens equals to PA times PB. So to find the combined events, you only have to multiply the probability of each of them. For example, when flipping two coins, P flipping two heads, probability you will get two heads is that means the first one is head, the second one is head. When you think like the first throws will affect the second throws or not, you will say that when we flip a coin, the first throw will not affect the next throws, right? Because it will not affect the next rows. That means this one is independent events. And when you combine them, you want to find the head and head, you will have to multiply the probability of one head, the first head, and the second head. Just multiply it like this. So you'll have 1/4 as the probability of flipping two heads. Second is mutually exclusive events. If you throw a normal dice and let A equals to the event that you get an even numbers and B the event that you get an odd number, then A and B cannot be happen together because even and odd there is no same numbers, and both even and odd cannot happens at the same time. You can say that A and B are mutually exclusive events for this one. For two mutually exclusive events A and B, you can calculate the probability that either A or B occurs. PA or B equals to PA times PB. For example, when rolling a normal dice, P even numbers or odd numbers equals to P even plus P odd numbers, because we know that even and odd cannot be happens at the same time. Yeah, so even is 3 out of 6 plus 3 out of 6 for the odd. That means total is 1. And then also I want to tell you that when you see n like this, the word n, that means you have to multiply it. When you see or, that means you have to add the probability. Yeah, that is the easiest way to differ mutually exclusive and independent. And then next is example question 1. Noah and Sunja are both taking music examination independently. The probability of Noah passes is 3/4, and then the probability of Sunja passes is 5/6. Because the questions later wants you to find the failed one, that means let's prepare the probability of Noah failed first. It will be 1/4 because the total is 1. That means to find the fail, you only have to do 1 minus 3/4. And then the probability of Sunja failed, also 1 minus 5/6 equals to 1/6. And then after this, we are ready to answer the questions. The question says both pass. That means P, probability of Noah pass, and also Sunja pass equals to, because both of them doesn't affect each other, that means this is independent event. That means you have to multiply it. And why do you multiply? Also because the word is n. Yeah, so this one is 5/8 as the result. Next is neither passes. Neither passes means both of them fail. So Noah fail and also Sunja have to be failed. So fail and fail means 1/4 times 1/6 equals to 1/24. Next is at least one passes. That means Noah passes and Sunja fail, or P, Noah fail and Sunja passes. See this one? This one is or the third possibilities is Noah passes and also Sunja passes, because it says at least one passes. Yeah, that means both of them can be passed also. So for this one, Noah passes is 3/4, times it with Sunja Sunja fail is 1/6, and Noah fail is 1/4, times Sunja pass is 5/6, and then pass and pass is 3/4 times 5/6. Okay, let's calculate this. We'll have 3/24 right here, and then this one is 5/24, and then this one is 15/24. And we have or after that. Or means addition. That means after you multiply them, you have to add them all together. 8 plus 15 is 23 out of 24. So the final answer is 23/24. Next is neither Noah or Sunja passes, but not both. That means one of them is pass. Yeah. we already calculated that before this one. So for questions D, we only have to add it all together. We will have 8 over 24. There you go. This is how you do probability, guys. It's not hard as you imagine it. In fact, it's very easy if you can read the sentence well and also interpret the situations. Yeah, so I think this chapter will be easy for you to do and to get a good scores later in the test. If you cannot understand some of my explanation, you can ask me anytime. Bye bye guys, thank you.